Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the VIP corner for this press point with Michel Barnier, Chief Negotiator for the European Commission, and Dominic Raab, Secretary of State for exiting the European Union. We will have two short statements, and then we have time for a very limited number of questions. Monsieur Barnier, c'est à vous.
Thank you, and good afternoon to all of you, and thank you very much for your presence. Dominic and I focused on what needs to be done in our three work streams. Number one, a backstop solution for avoiding a hard border on the island of Ireland. Number two, the other outstanding issues of the withdrawal agreement, for instance, the protection of existing geographical indications, amongst others. Three, the political declaration on our future relationship. Our teams will sit together again tomorrow to try and make progress. Last week, our teams already had a discussion on Island of Ireland and Northern Ireland. As you know, we need a legally operational backstop in the withdrawal agreement. We must find pragmatic solutions in line with the commitments made by Prime Minister May in December and March. And we must de-dramatize the issue and spell out which controls are needed, where, and how they should be done. Next time we meet, Dominic and I, we will take stock on this work. The negotiations are now entering the final stage. We have agreed that the EU and the UK will negotiate continuously from now on. And Dominic and I will meet regularly to take stock and move the negotiations forward. Ladies and gentlemen, the principles of the EU in these negotiations are well known and have been consistent for the last 2 years. They have been defined by the EU leaders with a great sense of responsibility for the European project and the integrity of the single market. Also, the EU respects the choices made by the UK government. We can find common ground based on the EU principles on the one hand, and on the other hand, the choices made by the UK. As I said in July, we are far more advanced in defining that common ground for foreign policy and security than for the economic relationship. Our challenge for the coming weeks is to try and define an ambitious partnership between the UK and the EU, a partnership that has no precedent. This partnership has to respect the single market and the foundations of the European project. And if this is well understood, we can conclude the negotiations successfully. Now I give the floor to Dominic.
Well, Michel, thank you, and can I thank you and your team for hosting us today. We've had a positive set of discussions which have been very useful on all of the three main categories of issues: the withdrawal agreement, outstanding separation issues. On Northern Ireland, we've reaffirmed our commitment to the undertakings in the joint report, but we must come up with solutions that are deliverable for the communities affected. That's the key. On the future relationship, we also talked both about the economic partnership and areas where we've made some good progress, I think, on the security cooperation. There are still some significant issues to overcome. Yes, on Northern Ireland, I think we both recognise that, but also on the future relationship. And it's important to view the whole deal as a package. We agreed that we need to step up the intensity of the negotiations as we come into the final phase, and we've agreed to meet regularly and resolve at the political level those outstanding issues that remain under technical consideration. And I'm pleased that With Michel, we've agreed to meet next week, I hope for longer, on all of those issues. And I think it's absolutely vital. There are still gaps. We've had an honest conversation about those. Equally, on our side, we feel we've shown the ambition, the energy, and the pragmatism, and I know how committed Michel is to securing a deal. And if we have that ambition, that pragmatism, and that energy on both sides, I'm confident we can reach the agreement in October. Thank you very much.
Okay, time will allow us for 2 questions. We start with Mark.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mark Stone from Sky News. Mr. Barnier, to you first of all, if I may. Some in the UK will listen to what you just said, and they will openly now say, as some already have been saying, to hell with it. We leave with no deal because the EU side is simply not budging one bit. You talk about the principles being clearly defined for the past 2 years, and you simply haven't moved. What's your response to that? You don't appear to be budging on the EU side to what the Brits are saying is a negotiation and that they have moved. For you, Mr. Raab, a lot of people in the UK, I think, will be quite confused because the prospect of no deal apparently is now very high. Some in your party, some of whom are in government, are saying that no deal is fine, that it's not something we should be scared of. Others are saying that no deal would be a disaster. You say you're not planning for a deal, but on Thursday you are planning for no deal. On Thursday you're clearly going to plan for no deal. What's the reality? How likely is no deal, and is it good or is it bad? Can you be honest with the public? And a very quick final thought for you, Mr. Barnier. I haven't heard you use your hill walking analogies for quite some time. You talk about walking in the hills, you like walking in the hills. You talked about it a lot before. Where are we on this Brexit journey right now?
Hey. Quand on marche en montagne, je dis souvent qu'il faut garder son souffle, faire attention à ce qui est de chaque côté, aux rochers qui peuvent tomber, et regarder le sommet. Hein. Généralement, on ne fait pas des discours toutes les 5 minutes quand on marche en montagne. On doit garder son souffle. Donc nous sommes sur ce long chemin et nous ne sommes pas au bout. Vous me dites que nous n'avons pas changé nos principes depuis 2 ans. Mais, comment on pourrait changer les principes sur lesquels est bâtie l'Union européenne? Le Royaume-Uni quitte l'Union européenne, ce n'est pas le contraire. Le Royaume-Uni quitte l'Union européenne, c'est son choix que nous respectons, même si nous le regrettons. Et donc l'Union européenne est fondée sur des principes, sur des valeurs, sur des règles. C'est un écosystème intégré de lois, de normes, de juridiction, de supervision, de certification. Et le Royaume-Uni connaît d'ailleurs très bien, parfaitement bien, cet écosystème, puisque nous l'avons construit ensemble depuis 44 ans. Ensemble. Donc, ces principes-là, ils vont rester les nôtres. Ce sont ceux sur lesquels nous travaillons et ce sont ceux sur lesquels le marché unique est construit. Pour le reste, si ça est bien compris, nous pouvons trouver des points d'accord, j'ai appelé ça common grounds, entre les guidelines du Conseil européen, qui sont mon mandat, fixé par les 27 chefs d'État et de gouvernement, et le white paper, que j'ai promis d'étudier sérieusement et que nous étudions sérieusement, parce qu'il y a des points d'accord. Dominique a évoqué la question de la sécurité intérieure, la sécurité extérieure, la défense. Sur beaucoup de sujets, nous pouvons trouver des points d'accord et construire ce que sera cette future déclaration. Voilà, mais je l'ai dit aussi très franchement, parce que je vous dois la vérité, sur la question de la relation économique, il y a encore des points de désaccord, parce que ce qui est dans le white paper est en contradiction sur certains points avec les guidelines du Conseil européen. Sur d'autres points, il y a une convergence. Par exemple, un ambitieux Free Trade Agreement, c'est un point sur lequel nous pouvons marquer notre accord.
Well, first of all, I just should say that I agree with Michel that we need to keep, as we climb the mountain, our eyes on the summit and accentuate the positive. And there are many positive areas where we agree. But of course, we've got to close down those areas of disagreement. On the question you asked me about no deal, look, our actions speak louder than words. We're out here. I'm here seeing Michel again. I should be returning next week. We're going to be picking up the intensity of the negotiations. We agree on that. At the political level, we need to vitalise these talks and get issues out of technical discussion into political resolution. But of course, the responsible thing for any government to do, and indeed on the EU side to do, is to make sure that we're prepared for all eventualities from the negotiations.
The public didn't vote for a shortage of medicine, for example.
Look, as you will see when we set out our plans, some of these hair-raising scare stories are very far from the truth, and I look forward to explain the context on Thursday. But for today, the overriding focus, and indeed in the weeks ahead, is trying to get the best deal, good for the UK, good for the EU.
Et la deuxième question, c'est pour Clément.
Bonjour, Clément Zampa pour l'AFP. Est-ce que la perspective d'un accord en octobre vous semble encore réaliste aujourd'hui?
Il faut, pour savoir ce qui est réaliste ou pas, il faut partir de la date que Theresa May a choisie pour le départ du Royaume-Uni de l'Union européenne, le 30 mars. Je crois même que ça fait partie maintenant d'une loi au Royaume-Uni. Si vous faites le compte à rebours, à partir de cette date du 30 mars 2019, jour auquel le Royaume-Uni ne sera plus membre de l'Union européenne, tout en restant, si nous aboutissons à un accord, pour 21 mois dans le marché unique et dans l'union douanière et dans les politiques européennes. Le compte à rebours vers le moment où nous sommes doit tenir compte du temps nécessaire et incompressible de la ratification de cet accord de retrait. Du côté britannique et du côté européen, le Conseil des ministres et le Parlement européen. Ça nous conduit, en tout cas, à avoir une décision définitive sur l'accord de retrait et la déclaration politique bien avant la fin de l'année. Alors, je ne peux pas dire octobre à quelques jours près ou quelques semaines près, ça peut être début novembre, mais ça ne sera pas beaucoup plus tard.
Unless the Secretary of State wants to add something.
Well, only on the prospects of a deal. Look, there are three ingredients: ambition on the substance, energy, and pragmatism and compromise. And we're committed to that, and if it's matched, we get a deal. It's that simple.
Facing the probability of a hard Brexit, if you don't agree to something, could you imagine that maybe facing the big risk of a hard Brexit, to a revision of the decision, to say, okay, maybe it's for the Brits not the best thing to stay, but the risk and all these things could happen are even better than a hard Brexit. Could you imagine that you revise this process?
Certainly on the UK side, no. We will be leaving in March of next year. We'll be prepared for all eventualities from the negotiations. But again, we come here and I come here with renewed commitment and energy and vim and vigour to put into the negotiations to get ourselves across the line.
J'entends beaucoup le débat au Royaume-Uni sur le no deal et je vois même d'ailleurs, pour être tout à fait franc avec vous, se développer de manière un peu accentuée ce jeu de blame game contre l'Union européenne en cas de no deal. L'Union européenne ne se laissera pas impressionner par ce blame game. Hein. Il faut bien que tout le monde comprenne ça. J'ai dit devant vous, c'était dans la salle de presse de la Commission, le premier jour de la première conférence de presse que j'ai faite devant vous comme négociateur, que le Brexit aura des conséquences innombrables, humaines, sociales, économiques, financières, techniques, juridiques. Et j'ai même dit que beaucoup avaient sous-estimé ces conséquences. Évidemment, la forme la plus coûteuse du Brexit, c'est le no deal. Nous ne souhaitons pas cette option. Nous ne travaillons pas pour cette option, même si, de part et d'autre, nous devons y être prêts comme vous le savez, du côté européen, un gros travail est en cours sur cette question de la préparation en toute hypothèse. Et nous ne souhaitons pas cette option et nous travaillons pour construire ce partenariat futur et d'abord organiser un retrait ordonné du Royaume-Uni, hein, c'est-à-dire un deal. Voilà. Mais il faut encore faire ce long chemin sur lequel nous sommes et aboutir à la fin de ce chemin avec un accord qui devra respecter évidemment la volonté britannique, mais aussi les principes sur lesquels est fondé le projet européen.
Well, I think we will leave it here. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now have a handshake, photo opportunity, and then we will all leave.
Have you started writing the political declaration yet? Or is that still a blank page?
We are working.
Have you started writing it
We are
yet?
working.
Do you miss Mr. David, Mr. Barnier?
I'm happy to work with Dominic.
You're not asking me
Yeah, always to say the thing in a positive way.
Very happy to work with Michel.
Mr. Robert, what is the new idea on Irish backstop?
Yes,
Representative?
We're constantly talking about all of these issues.
What